I hope these things you have already learned how to enter it. Once you go to the atom here, is it visible?
Yes, sir. It is
My
visible.
cursor? Okay. So in your phase, you select your atom. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And once you select that one, you end up getting this position, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Suppose instead of barium, in place of barium, you are doping strontium. That's what your question is. And how you know how much barium is there at the site and how much other one is there, correct? Or I am understanding wrongly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you have to do here, you can add one more atom. You can say click here plus. So one, you can make 5 atoms,
Yes,
and
G.
okay. So one
Yes, sir.
extra atom will come here. In that you put the strontium. Name of the atom is strontium, and since you are expecting that this atom will go to the barium site, okay.
Yes, G.
If
Yes,
if
sir.
you think that if your atom is not going to the barium site, it's going to be strontium site. So accordingly, you change the write the atomic position here. These all box will come on the down at 5th level. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Suppose it is on the strontium site, you add those things. Okay. And
Yes.
be also close by whatever you are getting for this one, you add it here. Don't refine first. And then whatever value is written 0.125, that is the occupancy. So you know that instead of barium, it's not fully, it's little bit less. So in barium, titanate is contributing 0.125. So these together will go 0.25. Okay. And
Yes, sir.
so these are the edge atom, and all together they will be this, and this is going to be 2 times. These are going to be 1 times. Okay. So
Yes.
accordingly, total number of atoms you can count in your compound, and which site you are putting, that you can feed in. So that is one way. And once you feed in, then you refine these positions, occupancy.
Yes,
So
sir.
once you refine the occupancy, it will fit your data, which what is the amount of barium and strontium are sitting together. So that is one thing. If suppose you are having a material like say spinels, okay, or say double perovskite, okay, double perovskite, I think you may have heard of, like La2, say FeCrO6, one example. It can be La2, say MoTiO6 or something, anything you can take it, where molybdenum and titanium are sitting on the similar site. Okay. And you
Yes,
don't
sir.
know how much molybdenum, how much titanium is replacing each other. So that parameter you can refine and you can get the idea. I'll take another example. Say you are having vanadium titanate or vanadium iron oxide, something like that, V8 FeVO4. Okay. There is
Yes, sir.
also a possibility that vanadium can go to the iron side and iron can go to the vanadium side. So what you can do, you can add 2 more atom in this list and put the atomic position same as iron for vanadium, and for vanadium you put iron, and then you refine that one. So you can roughly get the value. If you have very nice data collection, very high count, you can get very precise values of these composition or disorder in the site. So these type of things you can get it from here. The only thing is that these things you should refine towards the end, not at the starting.
Okay,
I
sir.
hope this point is clear. Or,
Yes, sir. It is clear.
okay. Any other
Okay, sir.
queries?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Tanuj, any other queries?
Uh, there isn't query in the chat box, but anyone have any doubt, any queries, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll go forward then.
I will go.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, yes, you can talk.
I,
Little bit louder. Try to be louder.
if I unable, सर अगर
हाँ बोलिए, हिंदी में बोल सकते हैं, कोई बात नहीं.
सर अगर क्रिस्टलोग्राफी ओपन डाटा वाली साइट है उस पे मतलब CIF वाली फाइल अवेलेबल नहीं हो पा रही है जिस जिस सैंपल के हम मतलब करना चाह रहे हैं रिफाइनमेंट,
हाँ हाँ.
तो उसके लिए फिर क्या करना पड़ेगा?
ओके. उसके लिए आपको पहला काम यह है कि आपका डेटा है, you plot it
हाँ
in match software or whatever source you have it. Okay,
ओके
better is the match software, or if you have a Panalytic software, you can plot there as well, and you can connect your these data your software to the any database like ICCDN. Match is already linked. If you and ICCDN, you can connect to your Panalytic, and maybe Bruker machine if you have. There also some database they will give, and some matching software will be there. So using the matching software, you try to match with the which is the structure matching with your structure. Okay, take that structure, export CIF, and for your material you replace the atoms whatever you have it. Suppose you are making say strontium titanate, and you are able to get the match barium titanate. Okay, so instead of barium you replace with your element strontium, or whichever best matching you choose that from the match software, and export that CIF. And once you have the CIF, you modify your CIF for your material accordingly. Okay, and that CIF you can import and then you can refine it. That is the easy way. If suppose all together all over the world you don't have, maybe more than 10-40 lakhs database samples will be available. If still you are unable to get it, then the procedure is little bit different. You have to try to fit one by one, having with some trial and error method, and based on that you can get the idea. And
ओके सर
for a specific problem, if you have any doubt, you can mail me anytime. I will try to help you out. Okay.
एंड सर एंगल को रिफाइनमेंट करना हो तो जिस
Like you are having monoclinic, correct?
या
Or triclinic. So you have this. If you go in a profile fitting, yeah, here is there. I think we have did it earlier. Yeah. If you click this one, you end up getting here. Okay, this visible.
ओके
So you
Yeah.
can see here there is a alpha, beta, gamma, and ABC. So suppose you are having a monoclinic structure, so maybe some of this will be going to be different. A or B, one will anyway, two will be 90, one will be away from 90, correct? Or other way around. So whichever is you want to change, you just tick on that the way it's tick here. That will be also get refined. Okay.
Okay.
But suppose there will be no refinement of your crystal system, so that you should keep in mind. So if you choose to be cubic structure of your system, since you are giving the space group, that means you by default you are giving your crystal structure also. Okay, so crystal, suppose it is cubic, so it will be remaining the cubic for refinement. If you feel that your peak is splitted, you may have tetragonal. So what you can do, any one of the parameter you can little bit change it. Okay, you have to change the space group accordingly, and then you can do the refinement. So suppose you are expected to have only one peak. Okay, and instead of one peak you are getting two peaks close by. So then you better you go for subgroup of the whatever space group you have it, and there can be different method to apply it and find it out. Better you go tetragonal and choose some space group and having close by point group, and from there you can put the atomic positions and other details, and you can refine it. But that is required to little bit thinking. The things we have learned in the second, third, fourth day. Today we are just yesterday and today we are just talking how to use the software. But if you use your understanding for solving the structure, you can do that. If still some doubt is there while doing your problem, you can just anytime you can contact me.
ओके सर एंड सर जैसे कोई सैंपल है ठीक है तो उसके अंदर मतलब जैसे XYZ सैंपल है उसमें जेड की डोपिंग करना चाह रहे हैं वाई की जगह पे जैसे 20% की डोपिंग की तो मतलब उनका क्या उनको मतलब उनका रिफाइनमेंट कैसे करेंगे
हाँ, आप हमने पहले भी बताया, हम रिपीट कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, यहाँ पे मान लीजिए आप यही कह रहे हैं ना, जैसे बेरियम टाइटेनेट है, हम टाइटेनियम की जगह पे मान लीजिए जर्कोनियम डोप कर रहे हैं, यही बोलना चाह रहे हैं.
हाँ
सो यहाँ पे क्या करना है, एक और एटम जोड़ लेना है यहाँ से, यहाँ पे क्लिक करेंगे तो 5 लिखेंगे तो एक और एटम जुड़ेगा, ठीक है।
ओके
और वहां पे आप जर्कोनियम लिख लीजिए, और जो इसका एटॉमिक पोजीशन है लगभग सेम एटॉमिक पोजीशन वहां पे रखिए। तो यहाँ पे आप क्लिक करके चेंज कर सकते हैं इन सब वैल्यू को, ठीक है।
ओके।
और लगभग बी
बट सर,
वैल्यू भी हाँ जी।
हाँ नहीं मतलब 20% की करनी हो 30% की करनी हो तो उनके लिए क्या चेंजेस करना
ये है
पड़ेगा?
ना ऑक्यूपेंसी है ना, जैसे इसी के हिसाब से आपको रेशियो कैलकुलेट करना होगा।
ओके।
जैसे ये रेशियो है ना 0.125 0.125 एंड
हाँ
0.125 एंड 0.25। 0.25 का मतलब हुआ 2 टाइम्स ही आया है, तो रियली कहा जाए तो ये 0.5 हो गया, एक तरह से 2 गुना हो गया। इन सब में एक नंबर से गुणा कर दिए, 4 से गुणा करेंगे तो क्या मिलेगा आपको, ये 1 मिलेगा, ये 1
हाँ
मिलेगा, ये भी 1 मिलेगा, ये कितना मिलेगा, 2 मिलेगा। So 1 1 1 2, like this atom is there. So you can put the ratio that way as well. It's not required to be putting in this way. You put 1 1 1 and 2, that will also work. So better you follow this notation which is from the structure it's coming. So इसको यूज करके फिर उसी रेशियो में आप ये नंबर बदल लेना है। टाइटेनियम का उसी हिसाब से बदल देना है, 20% इसका ले लेना, इसका 80% नंबर लिखना है, और जर्कोनियम के जगह पे इसका 20% नंबर लिखना है। वो आप कैलकुलेटर में कर सकते हैं।
ओके सर।
हम्म,
एंड सर एक और क्वेश्चन था,
हम्म,
जैसे मतलब BATI, जैसे हाँ BATI-3 की वो CIF वाली फाइल मतलब वहां से नहीं मिल पाती, मतलब क्रिस्टलोग्राफी ओपन डाटाबेस से। अगर उसकी जगह पे मतलब FETIO3 मिल रहा है, FETIO3 जैसे वो सैंपल मिल रहा है,
हम्म।
ठीक है, तो रिफाइनमेंट करते हैं तो जैसे FE वाला एलिमेंट भी आएगा ना यहाँ पे, तो उसको क्या रिमूव करना होगा क्या?
Fe की जगह पे अगर टाइटेनियम जो आपका सैंपल है वो यूज करना है, लेकिन वो कब यूज करेंगे ये थोड़ा ट्रिकी मैटर है। आप ऐसे
सर
करेंगे
यहाँ
कि पहले आप कंपेयर कर लेंगे, ठीक है। अगर कंपैरिजन में दोनों का XRD पीक पोजीशन मैच करता है, इंटेंसिटी का बोदर नहीं करना है, ठीक है। यू
ओके
जस्ट बोदर अबाउट द पीक पोजीशन। अगर पीक पोजीशन मैच हो रहा है, इवन पीक पोजीशन इज नॉट दैट मच इंपॉर्टेंट, थोड़ा बहुत लेफ्ट राइट पीक पोजीशन मैच करता है, जो नंबर ऑफ पीक्स हैं जिस ऑर्डर में है उसी ऑर्डर में मेंटेन रहती है, तो वो स्ट्रक्चर आप यूज कर सकते हैं। और उस CIF लेने के बाद उस एटम को रिप्लेस कर दीजिए जो एटम जो मटेरियल आपने बनाया है।
अच्छा। अगर मतलब वो नंबर ऑफ एटम भी अगर ज्यादा हो, जैसे मतलब 4 एटम है वहां पे और यहाँ पे 3 ही हो, यहाँ पे 3 ही चाहिए अपने को खुद के सैंपल में, तो
नहीं नहीं, हम नहीं समझे आपकी बात।
जैसे मैं CIF वाली फाइल मेरे को BAFETIO3 की मिल पा रही है,
हम्म,
वहां पे 4 एटम है, उसको
हम्म।
रिफाइनमेंट करता हूँ तो यहाँ पे 4 एटम्स होंगे, बट मेरे को BATIO3 की चाहिए।
क्वेश्चन पूरा समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं आप, कोई एक एग्जांपल लेके बताइए तो क्लियर होगा। बोलिए।
फिर मेरा सैंपल FeNiL था,
FENIAL है, ठीक है, फिर।
तो मैंने क्रिस्टलोग्राफी ओपन डाटाबेस पे मतलब सर्च किया तो वहां पे मतलब एग्जैक्ट तो FeNiL का नहीं मिल पा रहा है,
हाँ,
लेकिन FeU मतलब Fe के डोपिंग में किए हुए हैं मुझे से Fe डोपिंग का यूरेन मतलब ऐसा कुछ अदर की डोपिंग की
कोई
हुई है, मतलब 4
कोई बात
एलिमेंट
नहीं,
है।
ठीक है। सो देयर इज ए टू पॉसिबिलिटी, अगर आपने कहा कि आपको डेटाबेस में FEU मिल रहा है, ठीक है, लेकिन आपका
हाँ
सैंपल जो है FENIAL है, ठीक है, यही
हाँ
बोल रहे हैं ना।
FeU हाँ। ओके सर।
हम एक एग्जांपल के लिए ले रहे हैं, कुछ भी हो सकता है, ठीक
ओके।
है। सो देयर इज ए टू पॉसिबिलिटी, that means your structure is same as FEU. The only difference is that instead of U, you are having one more element to be placed. So जो U का एटॉमिक पोजीशन है, सेम एटॉमिक पोजीशन 2 बार लिख लीजिए। हमने बोला ना यहाँ पे 4 की जगह पे 5 करना है, जिसे उसका CIF लेंगे तो हो सकता है 2 ही एटॉमिक पोजीशन हो। सो उस 2 में से जिसमें आपका पॉसिबिलिटी है कि वो एटम उस साइट पे गया होगा, ठीक है, वो तो आइडिया चलेगा ना, आप मटेरियल बनाए हैं तो, कि हम आयनिक
हाँ
रेडाई के हिसाब से कहाँ पे जाना चाहिए वो एलिमेंट, ठीक है।
ओके।
सो उस साइट पे दोबारा से एलिमेंट एक एक्स्ट्रा जोड़ के उसमें AL जोड़ लेना है, एटॉमिक पोजीशन सेम रखना है, ओके। एंड इफ देयर इज अ वेरिएबल साइट like in this case oxygen Z component is little bit variable, so वो वेरिएबल चीज को आप दोनों के लिए रिफाइन कर सकते हैं। सो लाइक दिस यू कैन प्रोसीड।
अगर नंबर ऑफ एटम ज्यादा है तो क्या मैनुअली जा सकते हैं क्या?
हाँ, वही तो एग्जैक्टली बोल रहे हैं हम कि यहाँ पे जोड़ सकते
ओके।
हैं आप।
नहीं हटाना भी हो तो मतलब हटा सकते हैं ना वैसा कुछ, और कुछ चेंज तो
हटाना
नहीं करना
थोड़ा
पड़ेगा
ट्रिकी
जैसे
मामला है, नहीं हटा नहीं सकते हैं, हटाने में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम, क्योंकि then the both atom you require to put at two different location. Okay, the same atom you can put at two location. If you remove it, the symmetry of the compound will change, and maybe peak position will not match better way. So if it is matching well with the type of structure, if you want to remove it, it's not so simple. You can add more, that is not a problem. You can try that one. If it is fitting well, you can use it, not a problem. लेकिन आपके पास फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है, इट्स लाइक यू आर मेकिंग योर मॉडल एंड देन यू आर changing your model such a way that is fitting with the data. So that's how the retrieval method works. ठीक है, जो लास्ट में इसका रिजल्ट आएगा दैट इज योर स्ट्रक्चर। अगर फिटिंग अच्छा है, अगर WRP की वैल्यू 10 के आस पास है या 10 से कम है, देन यू कैन यूज इट दैट वन वट एवर द फिटिंग इज कमिंग।
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है।
हम्म
सर मेरे पास कोबाल्ट फेराइट है, तो इसकी ऑक्टाहेड्रल एंड टेट्राहेड्रल दो साइड्स हैं, तो कोबाल्ट का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन दोनों जगह है।
हाँ
तो जैसे इसके अंदर हम एटम्स दे रहे हैं, तो नंबर ऑफ एटम्स सिर्फ कोबाल्ट 1 कोबाल्ट 2 Fe1 Fe2 ऑक्सीजन तो 5 हो गए ऐसे, या फिर
हाँ,
सिर्फ कोबाल्ट Fe और O3 ही रखें?
देखिए अगर कोबाल्ट फेराइट का CIF अगर आप ओपन करेंगे तो उसमें कितना आइटम दिया हुआ है?
कोबाल्ट का एक है, Fe2 है, O3
ऑक्सीजन का
O4
4 है। नहीं नहीं, आपके यूनिट यूनिट में ना CIF जब खोलेंगे उसमें कितना है?
CIF में ध्यान नहीं है सर।
हाँ तो ये ध्यान देना
कोबाल्ट
पड़ेगा।
फेराइट है CO Fe2O4।
हाँ जी हाँ जी।
कोबाल्ट फेराइट है सर, फॉर्मूला है CO
नहीं नहीं,
Fe2O4।
हम फार्मूला समझ गए आपकी, हम वो प्रॉब्लम
जी।
नहीं है। हम ये देखना चाह रहे हैं कि आपका कोबाल्ट फेराइट का वो कितना CIF में कितना वैल्यू है। एक मिनट हम खोल रहे हैं। ओके, सो आई थिंक माई स्क्रीन इज विजिबल। यस नो, भाई किसी ने सवाल पूछा था।
हाँ सर, हाँ सर बताएं।
स्क्रीन दिख रहा है?
हाँ दिख रहा है सर।
ओके, सो दिस इज द
लैटिस
CIF ऑफ
पैरामीटर। हाँ हाँ।
CIF of your cobalt ferrite. Okay,
जी। ओके।
so its lattice parameter is seen. It is a cubic and phase center FD minus 3m is the space group. Okay,
यस ओके।
and these are the sides symmetry. मतलब what you
ठीक है।
have, the rotational operation is given. So in
ठीक
the
है।
last it will be given the atomic position. Okay, so you are
ठीक है।
having the oxygen one type,
हाँ
oxygen only one type you have it. Okay,
जी।
you have
कोबाल्ट दो
cobalt.
टाइप के ले रखे हैं।
Here it is 3 type.
3 टाइप।
Okay,
ओके।
and iron you are going to have two different types. So that's what the atomic that is how the CIF look like it for this one.
तो सर ये
Okay.
सब अलग अलग जैसे आपने दिखाई है ना, अलग है। कुछ CIF फाइल है, उसमें जैसे पुराने पेपर्स में या जहाँ से भी मैंने देखा, उसमें किसी किसी में कोबाल्ट एक ही ले रखा है, Fe एक ले रखा है, और ऑक्सीजन भी एक ले रखा है। इसमें तो कोबाल्ट के 3 ले रखे हैं। 3 तो चलो मैं देखे
Okay,
ही
okay.
नहीं, आप इसी में
So
देखे।
they may be representing the primitive cell. Okay, it's not the CIF file. It is, you are maybe talking about the primitive cell of your cobalt ferrite. Okay, that is different story. Okay,
अभी अभी रिफाइनमेंट करेंगे तो फिर कोबाल्ट के कितने लेंगे? 2?
ये ऐसे ही लेना होगा। CIF file you have to write this much.
तो
Okay,
कोबाल्ट सर 2 साइट है, ऑक्टाहेड्रल और टेट्राहेड्रल 2 में ही हो सकता है, ये 3 कहाँ से हैं आगे कोबाल्ट?
one may be going to match with the other one. Okay, so if you see these sides, so one it's allowed to move a little bit away from. Okay, so if you see any other, you can download from internet. So
अब सर पर्सन तो ये है ना कि सर अलग अलग है, तो मैं सही किसको मानूं?
All are correct because everybody has refined their structure and they put it there, whatever the atomic position has come out. Okay. And that again depends upon the which space group you are talking about, which setting you are using this notation. Like, see, here it is written FM FD minus 3M. Okay. Agar
यही space group में
same space group, the centering will be different. That is centering again. So which setting you are using this number or this XYZ value you are taking, that will also going to decide how the atomic position look like. Okay, if you remember our
ये तो सर वहां से सिमेट्री से ऑटोमेटिक लेता है नहीं पोजीशंस, तो जब अपना FD3M डालते हैं तो
automatic it not takes if you have to give the CIF.
सर फुल प्रूफ में सिर्फ सिमेट्री और वो जब अपन स्पेस ग्रुप डालते हैं तो वो इसकी जो पोजीशंस है वो तो ऑटोमेटिक ले रहा है वहां से। अब मैं तो चेंज कर रहा हूं।
If you don't give the CIF or you require to give space group, then you require to give the atomic position. You're getting the point. If you are knowing the CIF, you no need to give the atomic positions. Okay. And if you are having the only knowing the space group, you know your lattice parameters, then you require to give the atomic position manually. This point is clear?
ये तो ठीक है सर, लेकिन अभी ये जो कोबाल्ट के 3 थे, अभी मैं 3 रखूं या मेरे सैंपल में 2 रखूं?
So CIF you import from any source, published source, and whichever number is given, you can use that one. Okay.
Okay, sir. एक next sir. Okay.
Second, you keep in mind always that if you are importing CIF from some internet source, you always make sure that CIF has been published somewhere. Okay.
Okay, sir.
There are so many data available on internet which don't have published anywhere. It's just CIF has been put on the website. Okay. So always, whenever you import, there will be always a reference will be given. If it is not given, you better ignore that CIF and try to get the CIF which has been published already. Okay. So if you go in you are talking about
Bilbao
CO FE204. Sorry. Internet is very slow anyway. So that is the only thing you have to keep in mind.
ठीक सर। सर एक चीज और पूछनी थी।
Yes.
ये जो आउटपुट फाइल और सम फाइल बनती है, इनमें लिखा आता है डिटेल में आर फैक्टर के बारे में कि आर फैक्टर नॉट करेक्टेड फॉर बैकग्राउंड। एक तो कुछ डेटा ये आते हैं और दूसरे आते हैं रिलायबिलिटी फैक्टर विद ब्रेक कंट्रीब्यूशन। तो इसमें डिफरेंट वैल्यू जो RWP है वो दोनों में अलग अलग आती है। अपन कौन सी चूज करें? मतलब जो दिखानी होती है हमें पब्लिकेशन में।
Yes. So two things certainly you should show it. Not two, but really speaking, 3 things. One is called the chi-square. So it will make you feel the way graph look like, that information should be given. Okay. Second thing is called the RP. Okay, and another one is the RWP or WRP, whichever name is given. Okay, so the most important factor is RWP. Conventionally, this is what is used. Okay.
Okay.
Though some people use RP as a more important factor, some people say other things, but in general, RWP weighted R factor is going to be profile fitting is going to be most important. If you remember in the previous class, I think I have put it somewhere. So let me just show you what are the parameters going to be important. Yeah, this one here. Okay. So goodness factor, or this is sometimes called the chi-square. The last one here is written. Okay. So most important, you have to bother about this one, the parameter WRP, because it's a weighted factor about the intensity, and plus it's taking care of your observed as well calculated intensity. But if you just want to have the information about lattice parameter very accurately, then RP is sufficient enough. So RP or Bragg R is sometimes called, I think. So Bragg R, if you get the much lower value, much lower in the sense, if you less than 10 you are having, it's sufficient for publication. Okay. Even the WRP, some people usually don't show it, but that is not correct. Whenever you submitting a paper, you should always provide the RWP certainly. So that is the most important factor. Chi-square sometimes we will get 1.5, 1.2. but WRP may be suppose 50 or 60, then it's not a good fit. This point is clear?
Okay.
And suppose you are interested to get the accurate atomic position and lattice parameter. So you can, if you are working in much more depth about the atomic position and lattice parameter, in that case, you try to manually change the lattice parameter and allow the atomic position to move and note it down WRP. So wherever your WRP is going to be minimum, that is going to be your better atomic position, and other way around. You fix the atomic position, then manually change the lattice parameter and check where you are getting the minimum RWP, and that will be your minimum or best, what you say, position or lattice parameter. So RWP is going to be your most important factor. Though some people try to get, depending upon their application, in this factor may be little bit vary. Some people RP sometimes become more important, or profile fitting. Or Bragg R is going to be sometime important. So Bragg R is going to be important when you just bother about the lattice parameter. And atomic position and lattice parameter, all things you want to be thinking about to have a very nice value. So weighted RP, you should try to note it down. I hope it is clear. Chi-square you should not believe totally. Chi-square, if you get close to 1 also, sometimes this value is going to be much higher. That is not a good fit. Today better we'll talk a little bit more on that points. Anyway, I have put it what the error you can do while doing the refinement. So
सर
anyway,
एक रिक्वेस्ट है सर, ये जो सम फाइल और ये आउटपुट फाइल वगैरह, इसका भी एक आप इस पे लेके और उसकी 1 बाय 1 मतलब शॉर्ट में बता देते कि भाई इसमें ये चीजें हैं, इसमें जो हमको पढ़ना आ जाए वो हम उसको चेक कर सके। इतनी बड़ी फाइल होती है उसमें कि ये सब चीजें हैं, तो थोड़ा सा एक नजर आप उस पे दौड़ा देते थोड़ी सी,
ओके
कोई
ये
फाइल
जो
लेके
कल
आउटपुट फाइल या सम फाइल ले
जो कल रन किया था। ओके, जस्ट यू ओपन देखो, एक्सेस नहीं Tanu, just give access to Jill such that yesterday whatever she has shown did the refinement.
Yes, sir. Just 1 minute.
We have discussed anyway, but again we'll do because it's important point to
Yes.
know.
Yes. Jill is there in the meeting?
Yes, she's there.
No, she is not there.
Huh? इंटरनेट नहीं हो रहा
सर?
इंटरनेट हमारे इससे कनेक्ट कर लो। Just give her a 1 minute. The internet connectivity some issue is there. By the time if you have any other queries, let me know.
यस सर, आज आप वो भी बता दीजिएगा ना कि मल्टीफेज अगर मेरे पास डेटा है तो उसको मैं कैसे फुल प्रूफ में काम कर सकता हूँ।
Yeah, we'll do it. One example, we'll do it for multi-phase. Okay. Yes.
काई की स्टैंडर्ड वैल्यू 1 है, पर लेकिन मतलब कहाँ तक हम दे सकते हैं? जैसे काई की मेरे सैंपल की 4 आ रही है, तो मतलब
that is more than sufficient. Don't think too much about the what is called chi-square value. You try to more focused on WRP value. Okay.
So what's the standard
chi-square? Anything less than 5 is okay, not a problem. But WRP you should be trying to make less than 15, at least less than 10 is very, very nice. If it is more than 10, then it's not very good. 50, 60 certainly you should not publish. Even your chi-square is say 1.5 or 2. This point is clear?
Yeah.
Though I agree there are some journals people don't ask for giving WRP and RP, just giving chi-square is sufficient to publish. But try to avoid that type of things. Maybe some people will not ask, editor, reviewer will not ask, but you should put your effort to make it better. Connect हुआ? वाईफाई का नाम ये है ब्रजेश 12 कुछ करके इसे आया, ब्रजेश iPhone 12 करके आया होगा। ये नाम से है. Okay, so by the time she is showing you these details, let me go through the basic idea what I thought of giving to you for today, and then we'll do the one example of multi-phase. Is it okay? Some few important points I like to add up here. Okay, so I think my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Perfect.
So today only a few things which are going to be important. I have planned to repeat in the sense to emphasize again, such that you don't do the mistakes. And one point was missed yesterday, that is effect of grain size. So that one small point I like to add it here. So these are the things we have going to refine. Okay. Yeah, this one. So in refinement, parameters are the following. Some are called the global parameters, some are called the for each phase parameter. Okay. So global parameters should be refined for all, it's once for all the phases. It's like instrumental profile, profile asymmetry, sample displacement, background parameters, porosity, absorption, and list may be much larger, but some of the important things I just put it here. Okay, and for the each phase, like we'll do just after this presentation, for two different phase, you require for each phase you need to define these parameters. It's called the atomic positions, thermal parameters, site occupancies, scale factor, lattice parameter. We have seen in the previous lecture what are these and how we can access these points. Preferred orientation. By the way, preferred orientation you should be not doing if you know that my sample is totally random, in the sense I have a totally polycrystalline sample. If you are having a sample which is not a polycrystalline and you expect that it's going to have a preferred orientation, then only you should be trying to do the preferred orientation. Otherwise, it's unnecessary, will not very useful. Okay. Lattice parameters certainly you have to define, crystallite size and strain and other things. So for each phase, these things should be defined. And how you can define them? By changing the profile parameters and other things. So those small few points I'll repeat again. So scale factor is going to be important, and constant factor which scale calculates the intensity of all reflections. So scale factor better you do first, such that you will get an idea that how much the value is reaching, and that going to directly control your least square refinement value, that means chi-square. So if scaling you do nicely, you will get better fitting you do, you will get the better chi-square value. So if you fit your data and if you try to see the zoom it and see some particular peak, and if your fit is very nice, so the circle is the data and the line is the calculated data, and on the down there is a two lines, there is a baseline is there, one straight, and apart from that you can see this moving line. So if you are getting the baseline is very flat, or there is no difference between the calculated and your actual data, the difference will be going to be minimum. So that will be called the good fit. So that is the best way to see whether your fitting is very nice or not. So what you can do the best way, you zoom each peak and try to see that the difference peak is going to be very flat. Okay. Once it is flat, even sometimes chi-square and other parameter may not get very nice, but still your fitting will be called good. Or anyway, the WRP will be are designed such a way that if WRP is lowest, you will get the flat here. This point is clear. If you are getting something like this, your difference is going downward or difference is going upward, that means your fitting is not good. That means your peak intensity is not fitted well. You still need to bother about changing the atomic position. If it is very nice for some peak like this, but some other peak it's not fitting well, that means you go and change the atomic position. Okay, if you are seeing this type of things, that means you have either calculated very high intensity or you have calculated lower intensity. That's how you're going to get this way. This point is clear. So when you should be bothering about to change this one atomic position, when you are going to have the peak in this style, a peak fitting, in the end you will get this type of shape. Okay, now if your full width half maxima or you can say peak shape is not very nice, suppose you are getting this type of difference. So if your difference is like this, what you have to do, you go for changing the B value. I think in the fitting we have talked about thermal parameter B. It can be isometric or it can be for each atom anisotropic isometric. So asymmetric thermal parameter will be controlled from the atoms atomic position, where it's written B1, B2, B3 or B is given now. So that parameter either is not fitted well, so you are going to get this type of behavior. Okay, or it can be in the other way around. So either thermal parameter, total thermal parameter you should try to change, or so that can be another trouble. Okay, so once you to zoom it and then you can judge which parameter I should change. Okay, so how to decide it? I told in the previous slide, whenever you have this condition, you go for changing the atomic position. When you are having this type of condition, you better try to change the profile. Okay, profile can be U, V, W, B. These are going to be profile. Also, suppose your peak is it's going up this way, down this way, or other way around. Peak shape can be going to be correct. That means incorrect profile parameter are going to be. So better you try to bother about or changing or refining your U, V, W, and IG parameter. In profile, you will get these things. So those who have already seen it or try to run it, the software, you may have remember. The name is called the profile parameter U, V, W. You require to change it. Okay. So that's how it's going to be U, V, W if you want to change. So that should be there. You should also keep in mind that sometime what happen, the U, V, W, any one parameter is become very highly negative value. Or some of the three parameters going to be, two are going to be positive, one is negative. All three are negative, all three are positive is a problem. And the value should be not very high. Okay. So if two are positive, one negative, it's okay. Somewhat you can manage. Ideally speaking, you should avoid making that negative, but sometimes it's happen. So that value should be not very large. If it is very large, you may going to end up getting this type of fitting of the peak shape, and which will be not correct. By the way, this you don't need to think so much. Once you have the very nice what is called WRP value, in that case it is not a problem. But getting WRP value very better is not so simple. You have to work a lot. Okay. Okay. So this we have discussed already. That's what the meaning of these parameters. They are related with the temperature somehow. Okay. So that is again, I have put it here. U, V, W. You can see this value is negative, but it is very small value. Okay. We should avoid to have very large value in negative. And this is scale factor, it can be anything, not a problem. B factor we have not refined yesterday. To get a better fitting, B factor should be also refined. Okay, so here again I have repeated the stuff to say that the B factor usually come in this way. So it is an exponential function, and as you go away from the lower 2 theta value, you are going to get the larger temperature factor. So your peak shape fitting is going to be easily diverge if you go for higher 2 theta value. You know that the theta value, if you go away from 0 to 90, the theta value go much higher value. So all other things are constant. This is one parameter depends upon your material and all. So that you leave it. So if you go higher 2 theta value, thermal parameter is going to affect much more. So your peak will become more broader. So usually you may have seen in the X-ray diffraction that the peak which are at lower angle, they are very sharp. And if you go the peak at very larger value, larger 2 theta value, the peaks become broader. So if you are doing the, say, Serre formula, just you are utilizing directly for calculating the particle size, and you have not considered this factor into account, you may end up getting the wrong lattice, wrong atomic, what is called particle size or your crystallite size. So better you always choose smaller angle peaks for determining your particle size if you are just doing the Serre formula to get the particle size. If you go for higher angle, that will be trouble. You are going to get the wrong value of particle size, okay, or crystallite size. Okay, so that's what I told, the B factor. You can see here it's become negative, it's large value. So this should be not correct. The value should be smaller, and you should avoid getting the negative value. Okay, though it's not necessary that always you will get the negative. If you are little bit negative is there, you can still work with, as long as WRP is okay. Okay, so this is another important point, which is called the effect of grain size. Okay, so if grain size is going to be going to control your peak shape, and not only peak shape, this is very old data. And how to realize that your peak shape is going to be good? Again, the difference you have to see it. The difference plot is going to be very important, usually which come in a blue color. Okay, and the peak shape and size is going to control your particle size. We have not shown it here, but once you have in this part, we go yesterday lecture we have shown it. There is so much option are there. Again, if you are confused with which option going to represent what, it's better to follow the manual of this tutorial, this software. They have given all the details, which factor is going to affect which one, and how you can read information out of it. Okay, so these are some tricks for refinement, though it is not the what is the thumb rule. You can say that you can use this way to refine your data. Some people can have different approach, but this usually works. Okay, so for instrumental parameter, scale factor is going to be very important. Background is going to be important. Again, line broadening can come from the two sources. One is from instrument, another from the your sample as well. So this is going to control both things. So first you have to refine these two things. Then you should refine your lattice parameter. Okay, then go for your line broadening refinement. Zero shift usually not required for your sample. Suppose you are having a sample, you are recording an X-ray data, putting your sample on a, say, glass plate or something. So what happened? The correction may have not used. The sample height is up. So you may get a zero correction in the background correction in the whole peak may be shifting some small angle. So that will going to affect your what is called the lattice parameter and all that. So those things you have to take care. Preferred orientation and other things, occupancy and all that you should define in the end. Okay, then another important point to note it down that use only good adjusted diffractometer. So bad adjustment cause the line shift and broadening, and that will lead to you getting the data, getting the refinement points, which will be not related to your material. So unless you are having a very highly adjusted diffractometer, it's not good to do the ritual refinement. Even you will get the information that may be not related to your material, or it will be going to give a wrong value. So while collecting the data, you should be a little bit careful. And or if you are not doing by your own, so whoever is doing the XRD data, you just inform what the things you want in advance. You want to have these corrections done in advance. Okay, then because you are going to get the data up to 3-4 decimal place correct, and if your initial error will be there, so that having no meaning. So that's why this is going to be important. Another important point is that to get a correct atomic positions and what do you say, lattice parameters, you should have the fine powder. Okay, because that will become more random, and more randomness will give less orientation, and that will have minimum error in that. Just a minute. Hello. Sir. Okay, sir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorry. So you should try to have the small size, so you will get better integral intensities. Coarse powder causes problem with a rough surface, so rough surface will also create a trouble. So you should, when you do the X-ray diffraction, you should try to make a very fine powder and then do the diffraction data. Use sufficient counting time. So I have told earlier in the first maybe second class, and there, unless you have sufficient time to for recording on each step of your from XRD machine, so that will reduce the noise. Okay, and that way you will get the better count as well as minimum noise, so that your refinement will be much better. So that is related to that point. Apply dead time correction. So for strong diffraction lines, the use of dead time correction is strongly recommended, because anyway, that is not recommended for your powder one, so that will leave it for the time. Okay, what things you should not doing in the refinement? Okay, in ritual refinement, you should be not doing the refined parameters which are fixed by the structure relation. Okay, so like fractional coordinates, lattice parameters. So if they are fixed position, you can't refine them. Okay, like we have seen in the barium titanate case, if it is a 000 point, it's not, you can't able to define it. Okay, the second point is that refine all three parameters describing the line broadening concurrently. So towards the end of your, if you try to do this all together, like the UV and W and IG, you may end up getting divergence. So avoid this one. Okay, if something fixed is their position, there is no meaning of refining. If UVW, all the three parameters refined together, so it's like you having full freedom to anything to get changed, and in the end you get nothing. Okay, so that is the problem. Refine the anisotropic temperature factor from X-rays powder diffraction data. Okay, so anisotropic temperature, if you refine from the powder data, it will not going to be very much of your importance. Okay, so better you total B, better you refine it instead of anisotropic one. Okay, use diffraction pattern measured in a narrow range. Narrow in the sense, you should be not take for refinement. If you take from say 10 to 90, so sometimes you should avoid taking from say 20 to 50. Okay, so if you record your data from 20 to 50, that is not good for refining. Always take a broader range of data to refine it. If you remember, it's I'm written don't. So you should avoid taking a small range of XRD data for refinement. Okay. Another thing is very important. Suppose you are having a less number of peaks. Say in your XRD data, you got it say 20 peak, 10 peak or 5 peaks. So less number of peaks means you can define few number of parameters only at a time. So that is another problem. So that you have to keep in mind. Even you change it, it will not do anything in that one. So even suppose you are having a cubic structure, you may have few number of peaks. In that, if you have changing so many parameters, it will not going to benefit you. So it's better way to go one by one, and towards the end only you choose all the refining parameters. Okay, so beforehand, I'm just showing this one example where a compound which is we are supposed to get MgB2 structure, MgB2 superconductor we have planned to make it, and while putting in the furnace, due to some leakage in the seal tube, there can be some oxygen somehow entered in the tube, and we ended up getting a material which shows the diamagnetic character but not having the superconducting property. So it's showing a perfect diamagnet but no superconducting property. It suddenly become, it's insulating material, all of a sudden become superconductor. And it was a type of a strange thing to deal with. So we prepare one more time the sample and we saw the difference. What is that? In one case, the oxygen leak happened. And if you see the XRD pattern of the both, you don't realize that they are different. They look like almost similar. And by seeing your eyes, you may never recognize that you are having around 40% of MgO in MgB2. 60% only MgB2 is there. It is happening because of the very close by lattice parameters, and they are having similar structure. Okay, not similar, structure is different, but lattice parameters are very close by. So this fitting has revealed this point, and so these are the different structure. For MgB2 structure is this one, P63 by mmC, and this is the cubic structure. This is put in the primitive cell. This is the anyway, this is primitive already, so no need to make it smaller than this. You can't make it. And this one conventional cell. And if you see the their other physical property, you can see that sample 1 and this is sample 2. So sample 1 is, you can see there is a resistivity. We are able to do it in different way, and so much other physical property you can get changed here. So the purpose of showing this point is that if you are having some impurity, you can easily trace from the X-ray diffraction, and you can relate with your other physical properties. Okay, so I'll end up here, and Jill will present the two-phase refinement. So we are not going to completely refine it. We just show the how to do the refinement, because I'm unable to get this data which I have refined here. Today I tried a lot, but I'm unable to trace the data for this present this work. It's very long back we did it. So we choose one sample, and for that you can see how you can do the multi-phase refinement. So by the time, if you have any queries,
No, sir.
yeah, if you have any query question related to what I talked now, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll first show the. It's better first we'll show the multi-phase refinement, and then we can go for the question answer.
Yes. Okay, so I'm giving the right to Jill.
Yeah.
हो गया वो? ओके, बाकी वो बन गया पूरा? Okay, so Jill, you can try it out.
Yes. Yes. Is it visible?
Yes. Jill, can you try some headphone or something? Because some background noise is coming out.
Because I'm Is it still coming? Nice.
Okay, now fine.
Okay. Okay. So now what we are planning to do is we have one data on BATiO3 and CuFe2O4. So this is the DAT file. I have already converted in the format the initial theta, the step size, and final 2 theta value and intensity of the column. So anyone have not know how to generate this file? Everyone are able to generate this file? Okay. Okay, so this is my DAT file and I have two phase in this. First is the BATiO3. So let me open it. Okay, so for two phase file, what you need is your XRD DAT file and the CIF for both the phase. I know that I have two phase BATiO3 and so I name it BTO and CFO. So now what you have to do is you have to make two separate folders. First, what you have to do is you match the first phase CIF file with your XRD data in first folder, and then the second CIF file with your XRD data in second folder. So let's make two folders. I will write BTO phase 1. Okay, and in this what we need are XRD file and BTO CIF file. Okay, so just copy paste it. And second, so for second phase it is CFO phase 2. Okay, for that also we need our XRD date file and CFO CIF file. Okay, so copy paste that. Now you have two folders, both the folders containing one CIF file and your XRD data file. Okay, up to this you have it. Okay, now what you need is you have to refine what we have done earlier. So open your Foolproof software. To the background, select so I'm refining the first phase. So go to phase 1 file and open your red file, atomic background, and save your background point. And save in your BGR file. So PTO phase 1. Okay. This all step we already did yesterday. Okay. Now open your EDPCR file, CIF to PCR. Go to your first phase, first CIF, because you are refining the BTO CIF file. So open it. This automatically it will take from CIF. Go to journal, write your first phase. You are doing phase 1. So I'll write the title BTO phase 1. Okay. In pattern, it pre-format select X-ray pattern calculation, use pseudo void. Now what you have to do, write your theta minimum, which is 10.011, theta maximum 89.979, and your step size 0.017. Okay, entered. Background type 6 coefficient I'm taking. I'm doing the steps what we already have done yesterday. Now name of the phase, I'll write BTO phase 1. Contribution to pattern, X-ray. Again peak shape, pseudo void I'll choose. Okay, symmetry it's automatically taken. So in BTO is in P4 space group. Press OK. Refinement, you did 5 cycles. Background we did the 6 coefficient, so taken the 6 coefficient. Press OK. For output we need one CIF symmetry files, and if you need all the files just click it. Save the PCR file. BTO PCR. Okay. Now run it. The chi-square value is 137 and RWP is 102. Okay. The peak, some peaks are matching with this. This peak is matching enough. So we need to do refinement. Reload, yes. Refinement. Go to the profile. First, refine your scale. Save it, run it. Okay, it's decreasing. Okay. Now refine your latest parameter. This all step we did yesterday. I'm just repeating it for phase 1. Okay, it's not changing much. Next, I'll do the background. Refine it. See, now with the background, it is now fitting. Okay. You can do your refine your atomic position, right? Okay. Okay. Now just do one more time. The background. Okay, so chi value is 3.66 as of now. So I'll just write for phase 1, chi-square value, we get 3.66 and RWP we get is 77.8. Okay, so this is the refinement for phase 1. So phase 1 is done. Now we do for the second phase. So go to the second phase file, CFO phase 2. Now do the all background step and all that. Open your net file in phase 2. Now we are refining phase 2. Okay. So save your background points. It's done. Now we have to import the CIF for second phase, CFO. So we go to second file, CFO CIF. We'll do. The second phase is in FT minus 3M space group. Okay. Now write your secondary phase, CFO phase 2. So to repeat all the steps which you have done, peak shape and using pseudo void. Now write your theta minimum again, theta maximum minus step size 0.7. Okay. Background type 6 coefficient. Phases, write your phase name, CFO phase 2. Contribution X-ray pseudo void. Symmetry, it take an FDM automatically. Refinement, you need 5 cycles. Background in already is the output. Okay. Now you have to save it. Phase 2. Now run it. Chi-square is around 200 and RWP is 123. Now we can start our refinement, starting with scale. It's decreasing. Chi-square value. Okay. Now you do your ABC refinement. It's not changing much. Refine your background. The value is decreasing now. IWP is still 104. There are some peak which is not matching yet. I have to refine.
When you combine them,
Okay.
combine them. अभी नहीं कर उसको.
Okay.
Combine and then so.
Okay, so for this value, for this phase, we get the chi-square value 6.39 and RWP is 104. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to combine these two phase in one file. You have to make another folder. So let's make another folder. PTO CFO. Okay. Copy the files from phase 1. Paste in here and go to the first phase PCR file, which is BTO PCR file. So open it in your WordPad. So you get this numbers and all. Now what you have to do is, this is the information of phase 1, BTO phase 1. This is the information. Now what you have to do, you have to copy this information of phase 2 CTO and paste it here. So I have to go to phase 2, open phase 2 PCR file, open in WordPad. Now this is a bit tricky. You have to copy it from here, where the CFO phase 2 line started. So you have to copy from here up to this value. Okay, last 2 lines you don't have to copy. It's already there in the first PCR file. So you have to copy from CFO phase 2 to the second last third line. So you have to copy, Control C, and paste in the first phase file, just above here, because we did not copy this file, so just paste it here. So now you see what you have. You have pattern file, BTO phase 1 and all the information of phase 1, and CFO phase 2 and all the information of phase 2. Okay. Now after that, you have to change one thing. You have to change NPH. It's number of phase. So here it written 1. You added one phase here, so you have to change it from 1 to 2. So now this is your file. You have 2 phases here and all the information of phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, close it. Now open your EDPCR. Open. Go to the folder, the third folder which we made, BTO CFO, and now open PCR file, what we have changed. Now you can change the name. Now you can change in phase. You get 2 phases. The first one is BTO phase 1, and now you can go to next and CFO phase 2. So it already taken all the information which you already provided. So first phase symmetry is P4 mm, and if you go to next phase 2, it's FD minus 3m. All the information is now in one file. You can also check in refinement. You get this file. For phase 1, you have BaTiO3, and for phase 2, you have oxygen and CO and Fe. Okay, so all atomic informations are here now. Now what we do, we save it and run this. See, now you have 2 phases. Phase 1, and this is the information, RF drag R value, RF factor for phase 1, which is BTO, and phase 2, which is mole. So our first is now fitted well, and this is the higher value 144. So we have to fit the second phase more. Okay, here you can see some of the peaks are started to match here, here and here. Okay, so we start with background. Background is already done, I guess. Started with atom. Okay. Scaling for first. See how it's changing. The chi-square value is decreasing. So the RF value of phase 1 and phase 2. Now 126. Okay. Now similarly you can change for phase 2. So fix this position for phase 1. And for phase 2 you can refine the scale parameter. It's decreasing. See, now around 100 and this is around 30. Peak is also start matching. Okay. For phase 2. Okay. Now we do background again.
Parameter of growth and scale.
Okay, so now we do the latest parameter for phase 1. Okay, fix background. Okay. It's decreasing. Run it again if you want to. Now refine fix for the phase 1. For phase 2, refine your this. Now you can change your U, V, W and all the parameters which we did yesterday. Start with the first U, first phase value of U. Okay, it is decreasing chi-square. And
Lattice parameter growth.
V for first phase. Okay. Now you can do the background again. It's not changing much. You can start refining for phase 2. U value and all. So to refine all the parameters for phase 1 and phase 2, all that, which we have done for one phase, we have to do all the things for phase 2. So you have to refine one parameter at a time. It's a bit time consuming, but how to do it. If there are more phase, you have to copy all this file and you can get the phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, and you have to change the profile and everything what we are doing for phase 2. So we find W. Okay. This, yeah, peaks are there, so We still need some refinement over here. This big shift is there. This way you can refine all the phases and all the UVW, your IG and everything one by one. This is the method. Okay, I'll end here because it will take lots of time. But I think you know how to do it now, how to do multi-phase refinement. All you have to do is just copy the second phase PCR and paste it in your first PCR file and paste it. Let me just show you again. Yeah, after the first phase information, you have to copy it. PCR file. Okay. So this is job 0, NPR 5 and NPH. This value you have to change. If you have 3 phase, write 3 here. Whatever number of phase you have, you just have to change this number and paste your secondary phase information here. Okay. So this has the information of phase 1 and just after that paste the information for phase 2. Okay. And then run all the calculation according to which I have done again for all the phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Just check it here that you get all the phase in the pattern, as well as you can do here, you can check here also, you get this two activated, phase 1 and phase 2. If you have phase 3, this will be automatically activated and it will take all the information from which you copied in PCR file. Okay. Yeah, some file, yes. Yeah, so after you think you refined all the parameters and you are satisfied with your result, you can check the sum file, and in the end you can check, you'll get this type of information. In this I have two phase, so it's like phase 1 and phase 2, and this fraction will give you the how much is your phase 1 and phase 2. So it is saying that up to this much refinement, it says 86.35% is BTO and 13%, 13.65 is my CFO. So the material which I synthesize, it has 13.65% of CFO and 86.35% of BTO. So this, after from this sum file, you can say that how much percent phase you are having for phase 1 and phase 2. Any question?